Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to work on an arrangement that is for an order that came online. I cannot remember the exact name of this arrangement. It's an amethyst tribute maybe, I'm not exactly sure, but I am going to put our spin on this arrangement. It's actually a teleflora arrangement, but I don't have all of the same flowers, so they said just to fill it to value. So that's what we're going to do. The container that they had is actually a teleflora type of container. It's an amethyst color. It's a beautiful purple, almost a mercury glass look. I don't have anything that's even remotely like it. So we're going to use just a pretty glass vase with some pretty lavender and white, a little touch of pink flowers. We're going to start out. I have filled my vase with fresh water and added a little bit of flower food to this vase. And I am going to start out with some greenery. The first greenery that I am going to use is going to be leather leaf foliage. I'm just going to take and cut my stems at an angle, and I am just going to add that greenery right to my vase. I go ahead and remove any of the foliage that doesn't look pretty. Just go ahead and pull that off. And you just want to do your very best to make sure that your foliage does not fall below the water line. Now the reason we try hard to keep it from falling below the water line is because greenery in your water causes bacteria to grow faster. So that's why we do our best to try to keep that foliage out of that water. Okay, so I've added my leather leaf. I'm just going to set this to the side. Next, I'm going to come in with a little bit of eucalyptus. So this is a silver dollar eucalyptus. Some of my little, some of the little leaves don't look great. So I'm just pulling those right off. It's okay, just go ahead and pull those right off. Tucking that eucalyptus right into that vase. We do have some seeded euc, but I may wait until the end of this and add the seeded euc at the very end. So the first flower I'm going to come in with is some white hydrangeas. I've got 2 blooms of white hydrangeas. I'm going to pull that sleeve off, pull all that foliage off, cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to dip it in some quick dip. So I just have a hydrating solution. I usually dip that stem in for about 7 seconds or so, and then just tuck it right in that vase. Now, what that quick dip solution is doing is just helping to hydrate the bloom. Hydrangeas, of course, their name means water loving, right? And so we just like to give them just a little boost. It's just almost like vitamin C. It just gives them a little boost to help them drink that water. So I'm just taking that dip, count to about 7 or so, and just stick that bloom right into that vase. So I just tucked that right on top of that vase. Next, we're going to come in with some, these are a deep purple button mom. So we're going to tuck some of these guys in. I happen to love button moms, but they're all tied up in a knot. Let's see, come loose. I love a button mom. I can remember several years back, I had an employee and she just hated buttons. And I just couldn't believe anybody'd hate a button. I'm like, I don't understand why anybody would dislike a button. But I love a button mom. I think that they're very long lasting flowers and they're just sweet little buttons. So So they are in the chrysanthemum family, and chrysanthemums are very long-lasting blooms. So I love them for that quality. And then they come in all shapes and all colors, and they're perfect for all seasons. So I'm a fan of daisies or chrysanthemums or buttons or all the shapes and sizes. I like them all. Okay, so there's several buttons. Next we're going to come in with, let's see, I've got some pretty stock. I've got some mini carnations that have a little hint of lavender, so we're going to use those. I'm going to come in with my stock next. Let's see. So this arrangement did have pictured some stock and some lavender roses. I'm going to set my lilies over here too so I don't bruise them. I like to wait and put my lilies in close to the end because lilies damage so easily, so I like to wait until the end for my lilies. This is a purple colored stock. So stock comes in lots of shades of purple, a little bit of pink, white, kind of a, they call it lemon, but it's a buttery yellow color. Stock smells really pretty. I am a fan of stock, but it does have a little bit, if you look at it close, it looks a little wilted. I am not hitting this face. It does have a little bit of a wilty look to it, and so that's why lots of people don't love stock. But it's so pretty, and I love its fragrance. Now my husband Jason happens to be one of those that's not a huge fan. He would prefer us to just eliminate stock from our cooler, and I don't ever see that happening. So it is not very likely that we will eliminate stock from our cooler because I like it. And I think most of my girls like it. Most of my girls like it, so it's okay if Jason doesn't. Okay, so there's our purple stock tucked in. Next we're gonna come in. Let's go ahead and tuck our lilies in very carefully, and we will make those a focal flower, and then we'll come around them with our astros and our mini carnations and our roses. So I'm just gonna take and tuck that lily right there in the front and make him our focal flower. See how you can see how pretty he is tucked right there. Now when you're using lilies, you always have to be really careful because they damage so easily. So when working with them, just be careful. I'm going to tuck this one in the top, and I'm going to let those buds give us some height in this arrangement. All right, so there's our pretty lilies tucked in. Okay, next we are going to come in with some Alstroemeria lilies. So Alstroemeria lilies are also a longer lasting bloom. They do come in, they really come in lots and lots of colors. They come in pastels like pinks and lavenders, and a soft yellow, a soft green, a soft white. And then they come in bolder colors like maroons and reds and oranges. So it is a wonderful, fairly inexpensive flower that you can tuck into your arrangement. Yeah, they're really, really fairly inexpensive. And so they're a great little added pop. And they're a lot like that mom. They last a long time. So that's always an added bonus, in my opinion, when you have a flower that lasts a long time. Because to me, that's a great compliment. When someone calls and said, my flowers lasted forever, to me, that is a wonderful compliment. So I like to hear that. Okay, next we're going to come in with some roses. So I have a pretty purple rose. I'm going to grab a little handful of wire right over here. Well, I said it was. Oh, it's on the other table. Let me walk over here and grab some wire. If you watch watched me any amount of time, you know I wire my roses. I just like this added, I always call it insurance, of a wired rose. So I am going to take, and if you can see, they've got little crinkled petals all the way around. Those are called guard petals. They are actually designed to guard that rosebud. They are there to keep that rosebud safe and without damage. And so a lot of times they will come off kind of crinkled or discolored. It's just very natural, so just pop those off. I'm going to take a 21 gauge wire that I have cut in half. I'm just pressing it right into that calyx, and I'm going to twist it right around that stem. Just twist it around that stem. Now the reason I choose to wire my roses is because what this does is keep this head is heavy. It's especially heavy for a stem that's not well hydrated. And so if I wire that stem and the arrangement does not get as much water as it needs, and that happens very often, okay? People don't understand how to care for their flower arrangements. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But, so these flowers don't always get as well hydrated as they need to be. So this little stem, it gets weak. And that head gets heavy. The weaker the stem, the heavier the head. So it'll dip and it'll turn his little head down. I don't know if you've ever seen a flower arrangement, especially of roses, that have their little heads dipped. Well, it's because they were not wired and they didn't get enough water. But that little wire helps keep that head standing tall and pretty, whether it's hydrated well enough or not. Now, here's the trick to keeping your flowers for as long as possible. It's important that every other day, say you receive this arrangement as a gift, or for that matter, you went and purchased flowers or you picked flowers out of your garden. You're going to want to take those flowers. So say you received them today on Friday. So today is Wednesday. On Friday, you are going to want to take all those flowers out of that arrangement. And I'm not saying take them out one by one. I'm saying take them out by the handful. So just gather them just like this and pull them right out of that vase. Ask for help. Get someone to help you dump the water out of this container. Clean that container out. So take a cloth or even use your hand and just scrub the sides of that vase really good. What you're doing is you're cleaning any bacteria that might be growing inside that vase. You're just cleaning it off the side of the vase. Fill that vase with fresh, clean water. Give these stems a nice little cut with a sharp pair of snips and drop them right back in the water. They are going to last so much longer for you if you care for them every other day. As the blooms start to fade, you are going to pull that faded bloom out and toss him, rearrange it just a smidge if you need to, and continue to change that water every other day, and you will find that your flowers will last so much longer. So these are these pretty lavender colored roses. So I'm just going to nestle those right down into the front there. I'm just taking my floral knife. I'm cutting that stem at a sharp angle and nestling those roses right there in the front of that arrangement. Now let's talk about the reason we cut those roses or those stems at an angle. Now a stem is just like a straw, a drinking straw, okay? And if that stem is flat across and it touches the bottom of that container, it could cut off the way it drinks, okay? It can cut that, it cuts off its drinking, its straw. It's harder to drink out of the straw if it's sticking right there to the bottom, right? So the reason we cut it at an angle is so, number one, it has more surface space to drink. Number two, that point is going to hold it off the bottom of the container so that it easily is able to drink the water. So there's all our beautiful lavender purple colored roses. Now to fill in, we are going to use these sweet mini carnations. So carnations are in the dianthus family. Also a very long-lived flower, which does make me happy. Now, not everybody loves a carnation, and to me that's really sad. I think they tend to have a bad reputation, and I'm not exactly sure why, because they are such sweet flowers. They are so long-lasting, and what I mean by long-lasting is I have taken home some standard carnations, put them on my windowsill. I took care of them, and they lasted for 4 weeks. They stayed pretty for 4 weeks on my windowsill. So it is crazy how long a carnation will last. And now I will say, I do have a favorite variety. I love the Moon series, which is in the pretty purple colors. But there are lots of pretty carnations, and you really should give them a try. If you have not in a long time and you've decided that you just don't like carnations, try them. I promise you'll really enjoy them. If nothing else, just for their longevity. So I just took my carnations and I really just sprinkled them throughout this arrangement, almost using them as a little filler flower in this arrangement. So you can see they're just kind of sprinkled throughout. Now to finish our arrangement, I'm just going to add some seeded eucalyptus around the base. So look at this seeded eucalyptus. It is filled with lots and lots of seeds. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to pop it in half. So I have 2 separate stems. And I am just going to lift my greenery and just come right around the lip of this vase. Now what that's going to do for us is it makes it to where this arrangement doesn't look like it's just sitting right on top of this vase, almost like a scoop of ice cream. This is just going to soften that edge and give us just a little bit of whimsy to this arrangement. See how it's got some movement? Now if you know me, you know I love some eucalyptus. It does make me happy. And the wonderful part about this eucalyptus is you can break it up into small pieces and it goes a long way. All right, so the last thing we need to talk about is let's go over all the flowers that we used in this arrangement. We started out with a little bit of leather leaf greenery. Our leather leaf is just a base foliage. Honestly, you really can't even tell our leather leaf is in there. So we used leather leaf as our base foliage, and what that really does for us is it gives us a little bit of a grid to help all of those flowers to stay up in the top of that arrangement, okay? So we used leather leaf foliage. We used some silver dollar eucalyptus, give us a little bit of whimsy. Our hydrangeas are kind of tucked deep. They're hard for you to see, but we have white hydrangeas in the base. We have these beautiful plum colored buttons. So these are button mums. We have purple stock that smells so lovely. We have our stargazer lilies that are what we would call an oriental lily. So they have that beautiful fragrance also. We did our purple roses. We did our mini carnations. And then we did Alstroemeria lilies, some purple astros. To finish this arrangement, we added a little seeded eucalyptus, and it is ready to be tagged and go out the door. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. If you have any questions about how I did this arrangement or anything about the flower shop, you know that you can ask those questions right in the comments below. And we are so happy to answer. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please be sure to hit that little button down below that says subscribe. We want you here all the time. And if you'll hit that little bell, it will give you notifications for when we have a brand new video up. Guys, y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you real soon. Thank you.